Hello and welcome to the tutorial for texturing. In a previous tutorial you might have seen me build this table. And in that tutorial I colored the entire tabletop red. And then of course I linked it together with these legs separately. This table is now one entire piece. But I've changed my mind. I've decided that I want just the top of the table to be one color. And that is achieved through the texturing feature. In this case you want to select texture, and you'll notice that bullseyes appear on my item. The only texture that I wish to change in this case is the top of the table. And I've decided I want to make that a different color. So I'm going to click on my texture box, and I know that I have a texture in my inventory titled mahogany. So I'm going to begin to type that until my texture appears. That's kind of like a wood color. So I'm going to click select. What you'll notice is that the top of my table changed in pattern and has a little bit of a wood pattern to it. I do have to remove the red color in order to get it to look a little bit more like an actual wood table. So that's how you change the texture on one surface. However, texturing can be more than just a surface texture. Textures can be images that you upload from outside of Singularity. And here's how you do that. I'm going to turn this into a sign advertising the Islands of Enlightenment. And here's how I do that. If you go up to File and Image, you can upload JPEG or PNG files. I'm going to upload this Islands of Enlightenment image that I saved previously. And I'm just going to click Upload. It is now uploading into my library. As we did with the table, we need to texture the surface of this primitive. So I'm going to click Edit. I only want to texture the front of this panel. So I'm going to click Select Texture and click on the bullseye where I want my texture to appear. By clicking on the texture word within the Builder's window, you can search your library for the image you just uploaded. I started typing Islands of Enlightenment because I remembered that's what I named my image, and I'll click Select, and that image now goes onto my primitive. The one feature that I've noticed is very helpful is sometimes it can appear fuzzy or not as bright. By clicking the full bright box, it truly makes your image really stand out. And so now I have just textured the front of that primitive. The last thing that you can do with textures is there are many textures in the texture library that look like realistic items. So I have a basic prim that I've put here, and I'm going to edit that primitive, and I'm going to stretch it so that it looks like the outline of a bookshelf. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker and give it a little bit more dimension. I think that looks good. So I want my bookshelf to have books on it, and that can be achieved by putting a texture on the front of the bookshelf that appears to look like books. So again, I'm going to select texture because I only want the books to appear on the front of my bookshelf. Click the texture button and search my inventory for bookshelf details. And if I click select, it overlays that texture onto the front of my primitive, making it look a little bit more like a bookshelf. So there's just a few ways that you can use textures to improve the appearance of your prims.